Trouble seems to be all around Chrisean Rock, and the latest chapter in her tumultuous life is a flurry of drama involving her intermittent lover Blueface. After it was made public that Chrisean was expecting a child with her new partner, there was another collapse. It was discovered that Blueface wasn't particularly able to cope with prison life. His response to his expression of displeasure simply made matters worse. Blueface apparently gave permission before departing to finish his tenure. Chrisean to vacate their joint residence, but now that she's going on, the consequences of that action seem all too real. Their verbal sparring bout resulted from Blueface's response to the circumstance, which has not gone unnoticed. Chrisean relationship has reached a whole new level of public spectacle, despite the fact that he has many tattoos dedicated to him. Both parties use social media to vent their frustrations, accusing him of treachery and implying that he was corrupt even while he was in prison. Blueface, saying, "I'm taking my time with it," she revealed that she was getting her famous face tattoo removed during a discussion about the procedure. Despite some doubts about her readiness to let go, it was evident that she was serious about having that tattoo taken off. She appeared to be becoming serious with NCAA athlete Titan Newton. Chrisean, who shocked fans by introducing yet another new partner, but her abrupt change to a new chapter in her life has prompted questions. Chapter behind her, for the time being at least, but Chrisean promises to move on have previously been notoriously fleeting. "The duo we didn't know we needed," Chrisean tweeted when Blueface's connection with Little Mayu was made public, and she even released a song that blatantly ridiculed their romance. However, as Blueface begged for a reunion, she finally gave him back. However, the cycle has taken a darker turn recently, with rumors that Blueface's mother, who has always disapproved of Chrisean, cheered as she hailed Christian's apparent choice to move on, showing her uncommon support for Chrisean. She said, with a rare moment of happiness at their relationship's termination, "Won't he do it?" Although Chrisean is expecting Blue Eye's child, there have also been rumors of her cheating on Titan, and people have criticized her for smoking and drinking while she was pregnant. It has been said that Blueface encouraged his father to remove Chrisean belongings from their shared home after learning of her new relationship. He still stirs things up while he's in prison, as if it couldn't get any stranger. In another odd video that Blueface posted to Instagram, a woman claimed that they had been dating since 2015. Some details that indicated Blueface might have been seeing her while still seeing Christians and other people were disclosed in the time frame of her account, made others wonder how Blueface managed to speak so openly while incarcerated. Prisoners frequently use illicit phones, but the fact that he made this video public to his massive fan base begs the issue of who is helping him with these conversations, and why he would be so irresponsible in exposing it in the quintessential Blueface style. Even while incarcerated, he's been unabashedly untidy, further cementing his status as the king of drama despite widespread concerns that his reckless behavior may eventually get him into trouble. Lock him up for life. His actions appear to be a carefully thought-out part of a larger scheme to maintain his media attention and control his narrative, rather than a series of impetuous missteps. Aside from his usual afternoon meetups with buddies like Chrisean and Jaden, Blueface is currently incarcerated. It seems that his restlessness is becoming to him because he has little options for entertainment or distraction and has turned to more erratic, and instead, Blueface appears to have become more entrenched in a pattern of provocative conduct that attracts as much attention as it does difficulty, as if the absence of the usual diversions had the opposite effect. Even when his freedom is taken away, he finds ways to make his name known, almost as if he has become hooked to the chaos. The constant surveillance has resulted in some odd choices. The new revelation by Blueface that a different woman is his wife is the most startling thing ever. Surprised a lot of people because there have been allegations that he married Chrisean Rock, his intermittent lover, last year while he was detained. Blueface's statement regarding his new wife, if these rumors are true, has only intensified the turmoil that was already simmering between him and his relationships, including his ties with Chrisean Rock. Blueface's relationship with Chrisean, who has often been a part of his life, has been a mystery to both his fans and his critics. How may someone in a difficult situation believe that someone else is his spouse? The marriage announcement isn't the only thing that has drawn notice, but this action seems like another attempt to make things more dramatic for attention. It's clear that Blueface enjoys causing trouble. Blue eyebrows. Despite being confined, in a cramped space with no contact to the outside world. In the traditional sense, Face's repeated pranks reveal a deeper drive to stay relevant and control the narrative. As a result of his inability to engage with people in person, he has been using social media to disclose information about himself, offer his opinions, and, perhaps most importantly, make subtle or not-so insults aimed at his surroundings. Not only does this need for constant praise and attention impact his personal relationships, but it has also created a poisonous environment where everyone seems to be caught up in his drama, whether it be his complicated history with Chrisean or his strained connection with his family. Blueface's actions while incarcerated, such as taunting his son's health problems and referring to someone else as his wife, suggest that he is determined to maintain the limelight at any costs. Indicate that Blueface's drive for chaos is a part of who he is and is not just willful. It seems that his pranks will only worsen while he is incarcerated, whether he is making odd pronouncements or demeaning anybody who stands in his way. His acts are a strategy rather than the product of his irresponsible tendencies. There's a new way for Blueface to stay relevant as a Chrisean, and his sporadic companion hasn't stopped him. That's not the end of the drama, though, because she quickly called Blueface out for his bad behavior and accused him of being disloyal even while he was inside prison. The familial dynamic at Blueface is equally tumultuous. Even more stress was added to this already complicated situation when Blueface's mother, Chrisean, who has never been a fan of Chrisean, justified the choice to cut Chrisean out of their lives after their tumultuous relationship took yet another downward turn. However, it is difficult to ignore the jealousy that is growing. It's evident now more than ever that Blueface and Chrisean relationship was toxic before they had a child together, and the birth of their child hasn't helped ease the tension, Chrisean said, urging everyone to move past their past conflicts and reevaluate their relationships. "You need to take her new man and his family into account," she said. Damage. She said she was done with Blueface, but anytime he pleaded for forgiveness, she would often find herself back in his arms. This trend has persisted, but this time it feels different because Chrisean is now expecting Blue Eye's child, and some of her reactions, such as drinking and smoking, were critical. When Blueface began seeing another woman, the public wasn't shocked. In the midst of this, Jaden has provoked criticism by predicting another woman involved in Blueface's complicated life added to the already complicated issue as the back and forth between Jaden and Blueface intensified. In a tweet, she expressed her annoyance with Blueface and criticized him for being a bad father, Chrisean. She increased the distance between the two women by responding on Blueface's side rather than keeping quiet. She brought attention to the fact that Blueface had been ignoring his children and even boasted about not returning calls. Chrisean continued to flourish, and Chrisean's involvement made things even more difficult. Even though things are still ongoing, Chrisean and Jaden are unable to fully break free from Blueface's influence, which results in further harmful online exchanges. To further escalate the conflict, Chrisean accused Blueface's mother of using their children as leverage. Chrisean accused Jaden of being desperate and hypocritical when she reacted against her for adopting different views, pointing out how she went from supporting Blueface to getting pregnant by someone else. There seems to be no escape from this seemingly never-ending cycle of turmoil. Both women find themselves enmeshed in a whirlpool of unresolved problems, unfulfilled promises, and hurt sentiments with no clear way out. With a mixture of wonder and intrigue, fans are watching things unfold, knowing that the drama is far from over, but not knowing what will happen next. Following her encounter with Chrisean and Titan Newton, Blueface, her new lover. Connecting. On social media, Blueface's response to sending his father to forcefully remove Chrisean and her son from his house wasn't startling given his history of instability and insecurity, but it gives this relationship much more turmoil. Following her expulsion, Chrisean suddenly admitted that she felt relieved, a rare epiphany in an otherwise chaotic period. Chrisean wonders what might happen next, and whether Blueface will even send someone to get help because he is now sending threatening messages. As the stakes get higher, it seems like there is always another bombshell up for grabs, and there is no sign that this wild trip will end. When she leaves with her son, will the Chrisean finally stop? Fans can only watch as the drama unfolds and this story takes shape. After Chrisean went public on Instagram a few days ago, revealing the devastating truth about the ongoing abuse she and her son Junior had experienced from Blueface and his mother, Carissa, things took a sharp turn. Chrisean said the assaults were really unreasonable, since Carissa allegedly teased her son about his cognitive challenges with nasty remarks. According to Chrisean, she initially thought Blueface was genuinely apologetic when he first crossed the line, even after he shared their son's private moments online. The hurt was exacerbated over time, though, when it was revealed that Blueface had used social media to repost videos mocking Junior's health problems, dislikes Junior and makes every effort to degrade him in public, that she was divorcing him, and that she had foolishly married him in the first place marked a turning point in her life. According to Chrisean, she was naive when she first agreed to marry Blueface and did so out of fear, but she is now managing her life with newfound clarity. At the time of the decision, she was being increasingly criticized by the public, particularly after a video of Junior exhibiting symptoms of autism went viral. Carissa and Blueface's lack of support drove Chrisean to the brink, and she broke their relationship for good because she couldn't comprehend why Blueface continued to abuse their son, especially after he had uploaded intimate photos of Junior on Twitter just 2 years earlier. Chrisean's frustration was clear as she, for example, "When I stand up for myself, he can't handle it," perfectly captured the psychological toll of being around Blueface. She realized that he was using his position as an anchor to hold me back, and she interpreted his behaviors as more about control than compassion. She explained that it felt like her options were being restricted by his presence in her life. Chrisean recognized how trapped she felt and knew she could no longer allow him to dictate her choices or her fate. As she began to vent her anger, Chrisean related a recent incident in which Blueface's usual antics disrupted a serious talk when she was attempting to focus on her objectives. He began recounting tales about other women, one of whom even mentioned Junior, rather than confronting the woman with the words, "It's demonic, really demonic." She made it clear that Blueface was the source of her issue rather than the girl. The statement that Blueface posted on his tale further irritated Chrisean. She acknowledged that, particularly with regard to their kid, she felt compelled to moderate her light in order to prevent further upsetting him. She was unable to think about the peculiar dynamics of their connection any longer because it was a destructive loop. As she characterized, his continued contempt for their child as being on a whole new level, her displeasure was evident. Chrisean also said that rather than being drawn to Blueface, she had been responding to his solicitations out of dread. She said, "When I talk to him, I shrink myself." Chrisean has made it obvious that she and her kid cannot tolerate the abuse and deception that Blueface and his family have been putting them through, even if the path ahead will certainly be difficult. She claimed to have done this out of control and manipulation rather than true devotion when she followed and then unfollowed his own mother. She seems committed to taking back control, safeguarding her child, and making progress that shows her strength, way that is healthier and more beneficial.